What's up guys, it's your favorite twins, and today we're talking about Tyler the Creator's new album, CHROMAKOPIA.
This is actually the first Tyler the Creator album I've ever listened to, and I'm not gonna lie, when I sat down to listen to it, that shocked myself.
Where have you been?
Where have I been? Like, I've heard Tyler's songs, but never a complete body of work, so I was really excited to kind of dive into his world.
It's definitely a different world. I will say this is the second Tyler the Creator album I've listened to. I thoroughly enjoyed Call Me If You Get Lost, and honestly, this experience was no different. Tyler's been around for a while. Okay, if you're familiar with Odd Future, not just the brand, he's been at this for a minute. I feel like he's gone from shock value to being a well-respected artist and rapper.
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, I think about albums like Call Me If You Get Lost or even Igor.
Which we still have to listen to.
Even like Flower Boy. Again, projects that I haven't listened to, but albums that I am familiar with. So it's interesting to see when, you know, again, you kind of go from, I won't say like gimmicks, but you know, he's also known for his dry humor, his dark humor. So to be able to go from that and then to, honestly, a very talented lyricist after listening to this album, it's like, oh wow, like you can't let those things distract you from someone's talent.
100%. I think a lot of people forget that the most comical people are some of the people with the most depth.
And intellect.
Yeah. The most experience in life. I feel like that's something that we've learned with Tyler, which is why I feel like this album comes at the perfect time. It was originally about him growing up as a kid in Hawthorne, Inglewood. He revealed that nobody really knew anything about him before he was 17.
I relate.
Then the record turned into him talking a bunch of shit his mom told him while he was growing up. So, you can definitely hear that off the first track, alright, which was one of my favorites with the intro. Yes. Now he's 33.
Wow. I'm at all that life you live and being able to tell that into an album. It's honestly, I didn't know who narrated the album, but seeing that it's his mom, chef's kiss. Makes so much sense. Honestly, those monologues, those dialogues were actually some of my favorite aspects of the album. So for that to be such close relation to him, I love that. I love that personal touch. Something that I found really cool and intentional was the fact that he dropped on a Monday. Tyler said that we've been doing a lot of passive listening, and so to drop on a Monday, that's very intentional. It's like, I want you to listen to this. I'm not just gonna drop it when every artist drops, you know, their new stuff. No, this is something that you're gonna sit down, you're gonna soak up, and you're gonna do it on a fucking Monday.
You're gonna start your week off right. Don't let nobody dim your motherfucking life.
Say Chroma, again, being that this is the first Tyler album that I ever listened to, for that to be the introduction, I was hooked from the beginning, okay? That dialogue, that monologue in the beginning was perfect,
The whispering,
the whispering throughout the song with the verses, that was so, like, unique to me. I don't know who I've ever heard do that and continue that the entire time, but one line in particular stuck out to me. Do I keep the light on or do I gracefully bow out? That hit. That hit.
That was a bar. I don't know.
I loved it.
I think it's because it was a statement.
It really was.
To see how far it's come, he's kind of like, do I keep going or is this the time to kind of...
You know, and then to go into like Ratata, like those, some of the transitions were great too. They were very seamless. Again, I was getting the feel for how Tyler kind of writes. It was a dope listen.
Hey Jane was a really important track, especially for where we are right now.
Yeah, Hey Jane is actually my favorite. It had amazing storytelling, and it was Tyler's ability to paint such vivid images with his words. I realized while listening to Tyler that is my favorite kind of rap. A little straight to the point, more so storytelling, and I'm following along and I'm hearing the picture be painted. What I loved also was the switch in perspective. So going from his point of view to her point of view.
It's also titled after the abortion healthcare company, so I thought that was already giving a hint as to where we were going. But these are things that you learn about and talk about as you're growing up, and so it makes sense within the theme that he's exploring the complexities and the anxieties of life in general. Of growing up. And especially when you hit that age where it's kind of like, okay, it can feel like a midlife crisis. It can feel like an identity crisis sometimes. You're not sure whether to hold on to who you've been or embrace who you will be. And exploring that is scary, all right? So he's made a pretty relatable project.
Well, since we're on the topic of tracks and their depth, what is your top 5 from this album?
All right, so my top 5 came pretty easy. I feel like this was a very chill listen. It was very old school, classic, laid back.
Yes.
A lot of hip hop, but R&B, jazz, boom bap as well.
Yeah, I love that shit.
So I found myself relaxed a lot of it and kind of just nodding my head. But there were those moments where I kind of jumped out of my seat, jumped out of my skin, and I said, what was that? Moments like Ratata, moments like I Killed You, moments like Hey Jane, Take Your Mask Off, Sticky, okay?
Yeah.
That is my top 5 in no particular order though. When I heard those, I was immediately like, yeah. I also want to mention Thought I Was Dead and Saint Chroma. Those are, you know, 2 of my other favorites. I feel like Saint Chroma has to be listened to though, with intention, like you're listening to the beginning of the album because it just hits so much harder. But Schoolboy Q was good to hear on the album too.
Yeah, for me, my top 5 came pretty easy too. No particular order except for Hey Jane. Hey Jane is number 1 for me. You got Saint Chroma, Darling I, Take Your Mask Off, and I think I'm gonna Sticky. What?
Yeah,
Sticky.
Say,
oh my gosh, Glorilla, Sexy, and Wayne all killed it. Sticky was such a good. I think Sticky and Hey Jane. No, Hey Jane's gonna always do it for me. I liked everybody's verses. It was very quick, just a heavy punch. Sticky was a highlight, absolutely. But I do want to note I Killed You, Balloon with Doechii, because Doechii killed it. And I like Noid. I like the transition from Ratata into Noid.
And I really love that 0.millisecond moment. It just
didn't hit like I thought it was going to.
I don't know why. I know that's a single. I was annoyed. Maybe I need to listen again. But no, I think the album was a very smooth, cohesive listen. With it being more laid back. Obviously, there's gonna be some moments where you're like, okay, like I'm listening intentionally, but not for my entertainment, I guess you could say.
Out of all the rap projects that we've listened to, I think this is my favorite.
You can tell this is a project where Tyler just had a lot to say and he wanted to get it off of his chest, and sometimes that's where the best things are burst. So with that being said, we are giving this album a rating of 8.5. You may not like every part of the album, but there is a versatility there that keeps Tyler exciting. Yeah. And so I think that's why the rating's so high for me. It was more so just about the overall experience.
But of course, we want to know what you thought about CHROMAKOPIA. Let us know your thoughts down below in the comments.
If you enjoyed watching this review, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on your post notifications, that way you know when we upload, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.